Hello everybody, welcome back to Pixie Woo. Happy New Year. I know I'm a little bit late to say that because we are 10 days in, but it's my first video back. I have had literally the most lovely Christmas break. I had Christmas at home, and then the day after I flew to the Maldives with my kids and my husband, and we just had the most special holiday ever. Basically, the year before, it was my brother's 30th birthday and we went skiing, and I've never been skiing straight after Christmas, and I've never been skiing. And on my first go, I was doing really well, and the guy was making me do turns. On my first go of turning, I tore my ACL. So I now hate skiing and couldn't do anything for the whole year, really. I've been trying to train myself out of my torn ACL. So when I got back from skiing, I was like so annoyed that this had happened that I just booked a holiday and I booked it January, and then we ended up going at the end of the year, and it was so exciting to wait for it, and it all booked, and I paid for it in advance so that I didn't have that debt looming over me, we just had the best time ever, and I feel so refreshed and revitalised. And I know I had MS, so I needed a little bit of vitamin D, and I wanted some natural vitamin D rather than just keep taking sprays. And it was just fantastic. But I'm also super excited to be back and be doing videos again, because while I was away, and actually over Christmas, I got perioral dermatitis, which is, and you can very still see a little bit of it here, which is like you get bumps under the skin and almost like acne kind of, but it's not, it's dermatitis, and it just gives red blotches over the skin. So I have not been able to wear makeup for 2 weeks. And it's like, oh my God, no makeup. It's been fantastic, but I also couldn't wear sunscreen while I was away, so I had to wear a hat the whole time, and I'm now going through the process of trying to fix my skin back to good. But I'm going to do a video. I'm just going to not leave stuff on there for too long. I have been taking this ointment called Protopic, which is it is a steroid cream, so I'm trying not to use that so much and use more natural stuff. And it seems to be working well by using just natural. I've actually used a lot of coconut oil, even though people have said, don't use coconut oil. It's really worked for me. So, you know, each skin to their own, but it's been good on me. And I've gone back to using like oilatum and things that don't go too far into the skin, if you know what I mean. So things that are just more surface layer, just to moisturise the top of the skin rather than go any deeper. I think that I got it from gut health. Now, a lot of things start with the gut, and I haven't over Christmas. I'm really healthy, and over Christmas I wasn't eating quite so healthy. I had a few I was drinking a bit. So I think that's why I got this. It could be from other stuff as well. Could be from constantly swapping out, trying new products and constantly swapping out skincare. But I kind of think it's partially all of them all combined. Enough ranting. Happy New Year. Let's get started. I am going to do Lady Gaga Met Gala. Where have I been? Lady Gaga Golden Globes look for you. I'm going to start with the eyes, so I won't be putting foundation on until a bit later, but I'm going to crack on with the eyes. And I really liked her look. I thought it was really beautiful, and it was quite a lot of makeup, and I think a lot of people aren't necessarily wearing tons of makeup now, so I thought, right, I'm going to do that one because she's got a lot on. Let's do it. Firstly, I want to conceal certain areas of my eyes because that's where I'm starting with, and I want to get a little bit of concealer just in here where I'm quite dark. I have got the MAC Conceal, Pro Conceal and Correct palette in medium. I've gone up a shade because I've been away, and I like this because it's quite good when you do go away, because it has lots of different colours in there, so when you get a bit of colour it will last you a little bit longer, because you know you're away and then your concealer doesn't work and nothing works, so you have to get like colour adapting stuff when you go away. So I'm just going to take that just on the very inside of my eyes to lift that darkness that I have there. A little bit just on the outer corners. So this is just giving me a little bit of base. I'm not keeping it too much over the lid because I want the lid to not have much on. The first product I want to put on the lid is kind of like a stick eyeshadow to prime it. So I have got this one by Dalla Palma. It is in the colour 31, and I'm going to buff that over the lid. So I'm just going to place that over the centre of the lid. It's kind of a slightly silvery tone. I would call this probably pewter, would you? Would you say this is a pewtery tone? So just buffing that over, and then I'm going to take a brush. This is a Real Techniques Beige Shadow brush, and I'm just going to buff that so it blends into the eye a little bit more. So this is creating a really soft, light coverage eyeshadow over the entire lid. It's going to allow the products to cling to it, and it gives them a little bit of an extra payoff, so a bit stronger pop from them. I'm going to take a tiny bit more of that so that I can pull it up a tiny bit higher. Now in the picture, Lady Gaga's got this really beautiful kind of purpley lilac tone through the socket bone and just through the contour here. And I can't decide whether to use this Viseart one, because it's got a beautiful lilac-y tone here, or whether I should go for the MAC. These are purple ×9, because there's quite a few good purples in there, and that would mean we'd only have to use one palette. Or I have this beautiful one from Fenty. Let me have a look at the colour of that. Oh, that might be a bit too silvery. It's not quite purple enough. Let's try them two together. I don't know. I'm going to mix these two together. That's what I'm going to do. Let's give it a try. I just want to pop that through the socket. So this is Fenty, and it is 7-Day Weekend and Poolside. But there's loads of other products you can use to swap these out. I'm actually just taking a tiny bit of that Viseart purple just through here, because it's got a slightly nicer tone, more similar to what Gaga has on now I've seen it on the eye. Just through that very corner there. Am I allowed to call her Gaga, or do I have to say Lady Gaga? I'm then going to move on to liner and then come back to the eyes again in a bit, because it's kind of a process of layering. I'm going to take a little bit of Topshop Gel Liner. This is gel liner in the colour Ink, and I'm going to take a Real Techniques fine liner brush, and I'm going to give us a nice flick. Quite a good sized flick on this one. I feel like mine might be starting a little bit further in on the eye there, but I can have a look at that in a minute. Now hers also comes quite far from underneath, so we need to bring that up to join. So we're getting a rough idea of the shape. We're going to add product over the top of that, so don't worry too much if you're not great at liner, because luckily a lot of eyeshadow goes with this one as well. I'm going to take a little bit of the black gel liner, brush on its side, just along the top lash line. That makes the top lashes look thicker, and the liner also thicker. Next I need to go back in with the eyeshadows, and I need to add a little bit of depth just through here. I have got my Viseart palette. This one I got from Selfridges. It is so beautiful. These eyeshadows are severely matte, and the payoff is like nothing else. They're so powerful and easy to work with that it's a joy. So I am going to take myself what size brush do I want first? I'm going to take myself a Real Techniques Precision Smudge brush. This is one of my favourite brushes at the moment. And I am going to go in with the dark purpley tones here. This is where I'm going to live for now. And I'm just going to, oh, need to look at the picture. Just going to take that along the top of the eyeliner. This is why you don't have to worry if your liner skills are not the best, because we are smudging over it, making it smoky. Gaga style. Just allowing that brush to sit in that V a little bit, and then we'll smudge that along in a bit. And again, drag that underneath the eye a bit. Sorry, I need to look up. Sorry. Or I should maybe it'd be easier if I made the camera lower. Is that better? That's a little bit straighter on, isn't it? So hopefully you can see better. So just really smudging that underneath as well. We can clean that up because we haven't put anything under the eyes if there's a little bit of fall down, which you expect when you're using dark colours. Then you're going to take yourself a base shadow brush, which is slightly thicker and more splayed, so it blends better, and just little circular motions to really blend that little area there. So it's slowly building and blending. And I'm going to keep building that until I get it about as heavy as Gaga's is. Just taking a little bit of that eyeshadow over where the black liner is. It's just going to diffuse that a little bit and make it a little bit softer, but still very pronounced. And then just repeat the same on the other side. You don't really need to watch this bit because you've already seen it once. Right, I'm then going to take a tiny bit of this Dazzle liquid by MAC in Diamond Crumbles. I think it might be a tiny bit pink. It's got a slight pink reflex to it, but I'm going to go for it and it might look nice. So I'm just going to get a brush. I'm not going to put it straight onto the eye because I don't want it to move the shadow. So I'm just going to take a shading brush and just dust it over. So it's creating a little bit of something. I don't want it to be too much because then it won't look right. She might have had just something slightly more silvery in there. I'm not sure, but you can't really tell in pictures whether it's three-dimensional or not. Might have just been more silvery. I'm going to now tidy up my skin and then we can come back and finish the eyes. Right. Now I'm not going to put too much on my skin because like I said, I have got dermatitis or the leftover little bit of it. So I'm not going to, I've already put a really natural moisturiser on. I've actually put a little bit of oilatum on. I'm going to go straight in with foundation, but if you need to use primers, use a primer. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation. Oh no, it's Light Wonder Foundation, my bad. I'm going to really lightly buff that into my skin with a setting brush. This is in the colour 4 because I've got a little bit of colour. So normally I'm a 3. I'm using a setting brush because I really like to be able to properly buff that into the skin with a small brush so I can work on certain areas a little bit more. I'm then going to go in with a little bit of MAC Prime, Prep and Prime. This is in the colour Highlight Radiant Rose. I just want to pop that under my eyes here. And use the brush that I used for concealing at the very beginning of the video, just to buff that in. This is called a Deluxe Crease Brush. Taking what's left on the brush down my nose and through that centre panel of the forehead. And then back in with the concealer that I used earlier. Just on that very dark bit there. And my little blemish there. Bye-bye, blemish. Right, back to eyes. Let's add some mascara. This is YSL Volume Effect Mascara. It's the one that I use daily. Gonna whack some mazzy on there. And then a little bit of MAC Extended Play because it has a smaller brush. So I can get my underneath lashes, my bottom lashes, a little bit nicer. Now Gaga's got some quite full lashes on, so I am going to take these ones by Amazing Shine Eyelashes, 100% human hair, 311T. Right, just allow the glue to dry for a second. Pop that on. Tuck the sides in. And the other side the same. Once that's dry, you can take a little bit of the dark eyeshadow that we used and push that along the lash line. Just to take away the little bit of the, you can always see a little bit of the line, and I hate that. Right, then to shape the brows a little bit, Gaga's gone quite heavy on the brows, but I suppose that's because her hair is lilac toned, so quite a good brow. This brow pencil is Viseart. I'm not sure if I said that, whether I just thought it but didn't say it out loud. Right, I am going to powder the skin and add a little bit of blush and lips. I have got the Charlotte Tilbury powder in 02. I'm going to take another setting brush. Normally I'm 01 in this product, but because I have a little bit of colour, I am 02. Next I have another Charlotte Tilbury product. This is Ecstasy Blush. It's kind of like a peachy tone, and I'm going to just pop that on the cheeks and really buff that in. No bronzer or anything, just a little bit of a peachy tone on the top of the cheeks. Now, I'm a little bit darker than Gaga at the moment, so I had to choose the appropriate kind of colour. Hers might have even been lighter, something more like Stay By Me by MAC, which is a lot lighter in tone. See that? But I've gone for this one. I think I'm darker than her, I'm not sure. She looks quite porcelain in that image. So on the, almost where your highlighter would go is where this blush is going. And then lastly onto the lips. Now I have this beautiful colour by Laura Mercier, which is called Praline, but it's a little bit too light for me for this look at the moment. Let's have a little look at natural lips and see what that's like. That might be a little bit too dark. Maybe that goes around the outside of the lips. And what's this one? Hazelnut Tea. It's too pink. Oak. Right, I'm going to take a little bit of Oak by MAC just over the lips. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to take a little bit of Praline, Beige Mousse Line by Gaga, which is my favourite colour at the moment. And it primes the lips really beautifully. It's not by Gaga, it's by Givenchy. Givenchy. Sorry. Gaga's lips were very nude and very kind of peachy toned. but I don't want anything too much. I'm going to take the Natural Lips around the outside. This is by Laura Mercier. And then to colour the lips in, I have either Honeylove or Peach Stock, which they discontinued. That's Peach Stock. It's quite nice, but a little bit too nude for me. Let me try a little bit of Honeylove over the top. Now that would look lovely if I didn't have a little bit of tan. What can I do to rescue the outside of that? Right, let me take a little bit of Stripdown. This is a MAC lip liner in Stripdown. Now Gaga doesn't have all of this on her lip, but I need a little bit of something around my lips because that colour is just too light for me. And it works so beautifully with the blush, doesn't it? So basically I still want the makeup to look like Gaga's, but to look like Gaga's that would suit someone else, if that makes sense. So you do always have to change things slightly. Otherwise it could just look terrible. Right, before I finish, I'm going to dab those lips down so that they're really, really worn in. Because I don't want it to look like there's loads of lip on there, because Gaga doesn't look like there's loads of lip on. And there you have the finished look of Lady Gaga from the Golden Globes. I just need a mole. And there you have a finished look of Lady Gaga from the Golden Globes. I hope you've enjoyed it, guys. It's so good to be back. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I think you have to go into notifications and press to get notified if a video comes up. So some people are saying, oh, I don't get notified. I think you have to do more now to get notified. It's very annoying. I hope you've had a lovely Christmas yourself and New Year, and I will see you next time. Oh, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. It's Pixie Boo. I do lots of lives on there as well, so you can watch them too. Take care. Bye.